G'day, it's Joel Rasmussen for Southern Cross Combat. I'm here at Absolute MMA in Collingwood talking to a man ahead of UFC Perth talking to the great Jack Jenkins. Jack, I really appreciate you giving me the time, especially. You are about to fly out. Is today technically the last day of camp?
No, I think tomorrow will be. I had semi-hard pad rounds this morning, and then tonight, obviously, just keep the body fresh. I won't be sparring too hard. I'll just move around with a couple of the boys who I trust. But tomorrow I'll do a proper blowout on the bike. It's still a bit of an anxiety session where you know it's going to hurt. So that will probably conclude camp for me. And then Sunday I'll have a good rest. And then a lot of people like pull the foot off the gas a little bit during fight week. I still like to train twice a day, but it's instead of doing 2 90-minute, 2-hour sessions, I sort of go in, warm up, 15 minutes nice and sharp, and then I'm done. So I still like to keep the blood flowing and keep moving.
What do you do during those sessions? Is that more like bike stuff or is that more situational
pads,
stuff?
Yes, it's a lot of pads. I'll get a teammate to try and move with me, and they'll full pad. Every elbow and every knee is covered so that everything's safe. And then we just move around and just try and stay sharp and stay mentally switched on. When you're cutting weight and you're water loading, you can kind of feel a bit flat, and it's almost an opposite effect. Getting your heart rate up and moving around makes you feel better.
We were talking just before we were on the great, absolutely unnecessary pod. We were on there with Al Volders. You're giving some props to him. But I was talking to him off camera before I just spoke to him. He's not heading over for Perth. Who are the bodies you move around with on a fight week? Who will you be moving around with fight week Perth?
So I'll take Jacob Prosser. Jacob comes with me everywhere. Every fight I've had, he comes. He is like a jack of all trades on fight week. He's kind of like... you'd say he's like a soother for me. Like he will chill with me up for breakfast in the morning until I go to sleep. He's there. He'll do washing if you need washing done. He does my whole weight cut with me, just me and him. He'll go get food. If I need stuff for the media, he'll help me out. He's just like the most invaluable resource for me on a fight week, I think, is Jacob. And he's also quite a talented fighter in his own right. So he doubles up as a moving partner and training partner in that respect. So I'm really lucky to have him. And I think if there's any advice I can give to like young amateur fighters, or maybe even, people coming up through the professional ranks, is if you can get a teammate and you can sort of create this symbiotic relationship where you can help each other out during each other's fight camp, and you don't, because a lot of people will like call the fight dietitian fight week and be like, can you help me? Or can you do this? And it's like, they might be able to do it, but they'll charge you for it, which, because they're working with Adesanya and Volk and all those boys. If you can just get a mate who you feel calm and comfortable with to hang around, it can make your fight week so much better.
I've seen you corner Prosser before at his fights and such. So who is he to you? How do you know him? Did you guys meet through fighting? Like, who is he to you?
So I was coaching before I got in the UFC. I was coaching at Metamorphica in Melton, and he showed up when he was still in high school, and we were actually talking one night, and we weren't close, and he said that he played Fortnite, and I was playing Fortnite, and I said, I've never had a win. And he goes, bro, join my squad with me and my homies. And I was already out of high school a bit. I'm a bit older than him. So I was like, I'm washed. I'm no good. And him and his friends were so good. They used to kit me out and like res me nonstop. And we used to get win after win.
Carried.
So I'm like, I got carried hard. So I'm like, that's it. He's coming under the wing. And then since then, we kind of started our relationship as a coach and student, and then sort of transitioned into friends and teammates after that. And now, he's one of my best friends.
Talk about games. Are you still making your way through Baldur's Gate, or have you
I still haven't finished. It's a joke, eh? And now I'm like, my eyes are on other games to play after this. So E33 looks like it's like I'm going to go into the exact same style of game.
Yep.
I think I'm going to play that. What's the new one? All the trailers are coming out now. The vampire one.
Oh, is it like Masquerade, something like that?
I don't know what it's called. It looks really good. The gameplay looks awesome. So I'll try and get on that for a little bit after the fight and decompress. But yeah, not too much gaming for me at the
You're
moment.
Not playing anything at the moment?
No. It's hard. Like you love the idea of gaming in fight camp, but you get home from training and you just lie down. You're just done.
Yeah. Also, other big things going on in your life. There is now a ring on your finger and there is a ring on a lady's finger
Yep.
out there. You have become engaged.
Yeah,
since the last time I saw you.
Yeah. My lovely partner Britt and I are getting married in October, which is very exciting. Britt and I have been together for a long time, 8 years now, so my whole fight career, and it's one of those things where I've probably known for a while that we were going to get married, but it's like you have another fight or another something coming up that gets in the way, and I just said, all right, enough's enough. I'm gonna do it now.
How was it? Were you what's more scary, fighting or the proposal?
The proposal was nervous in a different way. Fighting's a little bit scarier, and I was reasonably confident she was going to say yes.
I would hope so.
So there was no. Well, I was lucky because I did it in Queensland, and I brought her mum up and stuff and surprised her after I asked her, and her mum was there. So it would have been a really awkward night if she'd walked in and her mum was like,
"It's a long
congrats."
flight home.
She was like, "I said no."
Where did you do it? Where in Queensland? Was there a specific spot?
On the Gold Coast.
Just like a specific spot?
Well, we were going to go to the beach, but again, timing didn't really work out, so I ended up just doing it in the apartment.
Oh, romantic setting
Romantic guy.
of the apartment.
It's a thought that counts.
Of course
it
it
was
is.
in Queensland.
Yeah, of course. No more romantic than the Gold Coast,
No,
dude.
no.
But we are, this conversation, although it's lovely to talk to you about other things, this is a business conversation. You are here on business. I'm here on business. You were fighting Ramon? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Ramon
Tavarez.
Yeah.
How did this come your way?
Look, ironically, Khan and I got offered each other at the start of the fight.
No
Yeah,
way.
They said Khan and I, and we just said we're training together.
Were you like,
yeah, we just said
set the camera up in absolute. Let's settle
so
it.
we've been teammates for a long time, and it's just not going to happen. And me and Khan both neither of us are super emotional about that sort of stuff, and we both sort of said, look, if we were both top 15, top 10, and it was going to advance one of our careers significantly, we would do it. And you just kind of split and go, well, I'll have Simon, or we'll flip a coin and see. And because we both train at the ring gym and here, so we would have been able to sort it out, but it just makes no sense. And we just get such good work together. And the UFC were fine, obviously, because Khan spent a little bit of time at City Kickboxing.
Yeah,
he was trying to gain some new skills. I think they still had him down as CKB on their list, and hadn't just moved him back to being here. So that was obviously why it came about. And as soon as we said they're teammates, they went, oh, no worries. And then a couple of days later, they came back with this name, and I was just so excited. Just such an exciting fight in every aspect.
what do you make of the man?
He is really sharp boxer. He's got decent head movement, good footwork, a wicked left hand. He might be a world-class grappler. We just don't know because he hasn't shown it. Like he's not being dominated in the grappling, but he's not shown that he's not a guy who dominates in the grappling offensively. So it's a fantastic fight. And I think that's, I'd like to sit here and tell you that I'm a superstar and that's why we're the fight before the co-main event. But I think it's probably more likely that Sean has looked at this fight and gone, these two guys are going to stand and they're going to fight, and it's going to be a really entertaining fight. So that's why we've filled out that end of the card.
We talked about it a little bit before we started. You talked about some of the media obligations that come with this fight week. We've talked about it in the past as well. What do you make of kind of how the UFC view you, especially, obviously last fight didn't go your way, but to still be put in that position near the top, they're putting you out there. Go on the radio, Jack.
Yeah.
How do you make about it?
Look, I love it. You get such a short window in fighting. Like it's and even the best careers end quickly. So I really am making an effort to enjoy the experience and not be negative about things that you can be positive about. Like if when I was 16, I would have dreamed to have a camera follow me around for a couple of days and and watch back my training footage and answer questions, do interviews with people like you. I would have loved any opportunity for that. And then it comes and you can feel a bit like, this is distracting or it's too much. And I'm just trying to remind myself of that it won't last forever. Enjoy it. So when the UFC comes to you and says, hey, look, it's a quiet media schedule for most people, but we've got you doing essentially everything that we have, I take it as a compliment, and I want to represent myself, but also the UFC in a positive light, because obviously I'm not just doing pure UFC stuff. It's all sport and adjacent stuff as well. So
you're not gonna like that I say this. I don't think you will, at least. because I tried to bring it up about 2 fights ago.
Yep.
And you were like, you didn't use this phrase, but I'll use the phrase. You're like, I'm not a coper. He judo through me. That's very legitimate. Whereas I was like, that was hectic.
Well, no, I ask away, because I think I will have changed my opinion a little bit.
Well, I don't mean to be like a Debbie Downer, but the losses you have in the UFC, I think, are asterisks. They're like hectic shit happening. I'd never heard of anyone. What was it? Like a trachea tear? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
Yeah.
Right? How do you view that last fight? How do you view that last performance?
Yeah. Well, I think for anyone watching, it's such a good question. It's good timing as well, because when I lost the fight to Chepe, I had this sort of extreme ownership view of it. Like, no excuses. And I still don't make excuses. I got beaten. But there was like this extreme ownership of, I made a mistake. This happened, this happened, this happened. And I think holding that kind of standard for yourself and not allowing that, there is a little bit of room for bad luck. And there is a little bit of room for things to go wrong that maybe are freakish accidents, rather than carrying everything as your fault. Probably wasn't serving me. I wanted it to be like, get better. And it probably wasn't serving me well in the end. Whereas now I look at it and I go, look, there's probably a few fights where things have gone my way and I've probably had a little bit of luck. Because you could look at the Jamal Emmers fight and go, that was a really close fight and it was a split decision. You probably had a little bit of luck, right? So then I'm looking at it the other way now for the Chepe fight and the Gabriel Santos fight, where you had a little bit of bad luck, and going, you know what, you did have some bad luck. Right, so I've kind of softened my view on it a little bit and gone, look, I've probably, I think even if you look at Chepe's fights since then, he's made guys look pretty average. And the first round, I was whooping him in the first round, right? Up until that throw, I was looking great. Same thing, Gabriel Santos. He beat Lerone Murphy. You can look at it however you want, but you go back and watch that fight. He beat Lerone Murphy on 5 days' notice. And then I dropped him in the first round, and then things went south from there. So I think if you look at form lines, I just have about as good of a form line for the featherweight division as you can get. So considering that I've had the best fight camp I've ever had, I really think I can really use this fight as a springboard to get where I want to go.
You are not a man. That's why I said you'd hate that I brought it up, because you're not a man who copes. You know what I mean? You're not like, this and this and this. You know what I mean? But if we can go to that time afterwards, like right after that fight, it was a little bit hectic. Was like, because there was some reports, but you never fully know the details. Was that like life threatening? The
absolutely,
the thing.
Yeah. So I've spoken about it ad nauseum, but everybody has a different way they view it. I was eating dinner and my voice was essentially gone. Like I couldn't really speak, and my sister-in-law is a doctor, and she kind of said, mate, I think there's something wrong with your voice. I could tell she was a bit worried, but she was playing it down. And then Simon came upstairs and said, look, they missed something on your scan. We got to go to the hospital. As soon as I got to the hospital, they were like, prep him for emergency surgery. He's going straight to the ICU, nil by mouth. So I was like, great, this isn't good. And then there was probably an hour there before I saw the doctor in the ICU where I thought, am I going to be all right? And obviously, you still feel shit from the fight. Like, I got my head beaten in. There was lots of elbows. Obviously, had the crack in my trachea I didn't know about, which was leaking air into my neck and chest, which was putting pressure on my nerves, which was making me feel numb on my left side. So it was a full-on experience. And, I'd definitely be lying if I say I hadn't carried it with me for months and months after the fight, and still carry it with me, every day. There was a period of time, particularly at the start of this fight camp, where I was just woke up afraid in the morning, went to bed afraid in the night, just, scared to come to training in case my throat went again, scared of going hard, scared of going through the whole experience again. But I think there was probably one moment where I just said, you know what, you can be afraid and you can carry that fear with you, but just don't let it dictate your life. Like, don't be dictated to by your fear. And once I'd made that decision, I kind of thought, well, if I can carry this fear with me for the whole fight camp, and every day you're a little bit afraid, and every day you're working through that. When it comes time to fight, you're always a little afraid fight week anyway. So if I can sort of make that fear an acquaintance, by the time I get to the fight, it might tip the scales in my favor a little bit rather than work against me. So, I'm really proud of how I've dealt with that. through this whole fight camp, and I really think it's going to be a blessing to have gone through it.
We are, at the time of recording, we are 2 days off fight week, but let's pretend it is fight week. How does this fight week compare to your ones in the past in that regard? Do you feel a little bit freer, maybe?
Oh, so much freer. We were just in, you would have heard this before, but my last 2 fights, I wasn't able to run for either of them, which is a big part of my training regime is running. So I was trying to find other things. And then for the last fight particularly, I broke my finger 3 weeks out and was in the hospital, had to get it straightened under anaesthetic. And so the 3 weeks before the fight last time, I had a phone call every day with Simon where I would try and close my hand into a fist, and if my finger was going to close 1 week out, we were going to take the fight, and if I couldn't make a fist, we were going to pull from the fight. And I ended up being able to make a fist, but you've obviously missed 3 weeks of grappling, running, and hitting pads and sparring. So it was just so stressful, and I'd forgotten how much I enjoy the experience of training and the experience of getting lean and sparring hard and how rewarding the whole process is. And now I've come back, and I came back with what you'd probably say was a sour taste in your mouth from the last couple of fights for a fight camp. And I've gone through the camp, and it just reminded me, like, oh, you love this. Like, this is rewarding, it's fun, it's positive, and the vibe in the gym has matched that, and I'm just excited for the fight. And the biggest thing, fighters never really care about losing. You care about not being able to perform, right? And I think I've put myself in such a good position to be able to perform. I'm not worried about the result.
What is the performance you're looking to put on?
I should be $1.05 in this fight. Like, I am red hot. I'm so on. I'm gonna kick the fuck out of him. I've never been better. Like, honestly, I've never been better. I get excited thinking about the fight. Yeah, I think he's gonna try and crack left hands. The left hand's gonna miss. He's gonna walk into kicks from the right side. I'm gonna start getting him biting on the kicks from the right side. And as soon as he bites, I've got like 4 or 5 options that I'll catch him with.
Jack Jenkins, I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. As I said, it's not officially fight week yet at the time of recording. What does between now and fight day look like for you?
I've got a horse running on Sunday at Flemington in the Oaks preview, and she's probably my best chance to get a Group 1 in the next couple of years anyway. She's a really talented filly, and she's getting aimed at the VRC Oaks, which is obviously a big 3-year-old filly race, $1 million in prize money, and I actually am in that horse with Volk.
Oh, you were telling me about that last time we spoke.
Yeah. So Volk and I were in Vegas a couple of years ago after he beat Yair Rodriguez, and we might have had a couple of vodkas, and we were talking about racing, and kind of said, put me in, I'll get in a horse with you one day. And I'm like, look, this is my dream. Like, get more people involved in racing. And then it took me a while, and then this one came up, and I was really lucky. Trent Buston, a horse trainer who I'm good friends with, sort of said, hey, go in this one. And I said, all right, we'll get Volk in. So me and Volk and a couple others, my brother, my strength coach, have gone in it. And she had a huge run first up, and obviously a lot of water to go under the bridge, but she looks pretty talented.
Excellent. I'm very glad to hear that. I know I said that was the last one, but actually talking about horses reminded me. You did make a post a while ago on your Instagram. You said, I thought my career would be like Black Caviar, and it turns out it's like, and I can't remember the name you said, and I don't know what it meant because I'm not a horse person.
What was the horse? I might have said Zaki.
Maybe.
Right, so Black Caviar, what
Black Caviar was like the star. I know that. She was the
yeah,
best.
well, what I meant obviously is Black Caviar was expected to win every run and won all the time. Whereas Zaki was more, he was always thereabouts in the market, but he would show up and he'd do really well at the times when it was really important, and then there was other races where he had setbacks. So it was more just the thought that, when you plan your career as a kid, you're always thinking, I'm going to be undefeated world champ and retire unbeaten. That's everyone's dream. And then at some point you come to the reality that that's not my path, but I'm happy to walk the one I'm on.
I look forward to seeing you go out there, put in that performance. Jack, I always appreciate you giving me the time. Best of luck in the fight, my friend.